Do it.
All right, I think we're good to go now.
Are we live?
We are live, my friend.
There we go. Hey, Joseph. What's up, Canes fam?
What's going on, Joseph?
You got to forgive us. There'll be a few hiccups. This is our first time at with a live chat.
More than a few. We're gonna have a bunch of hiccups. I feel like,
It was funny trying to make this all happen yesterday.
yeah, for real. Trying to set it up and trying to see how this whole thing works. We're not too savvy yet, when it comes to doing all this stuff. But we figured, yeah, we'll jump on a live and see what's up, and interact with the Canes fan and the supporters. We got Joseph, we got Dorian. What's going on, Dorian? We got D Rev Lee. He said he's
Oh,
in.
D Rev. That's
I'll invite some Canes fans. Hitting harder than Nate Webster. Rigor mortis.
oh man. We're going back in my time there with Nate Webster. Heck, I'll go further back than that. George Myra Jr.
Yeah, that's definitely you right there. That was before my time. I'm the young
Bernard
bucks.
Tiger Clark.
Yeah, Canes for life. What's up? What's going on, man? How's everything going, guys? How's your evening going?
Thank everybody for being on here. I appreciate it.
Yeah, we got about 14 people in here right now.
Having a little mini celebration and actually celebrating you guys more than us because the support that you guys have given us. We just started a month and a half ago, and because of Canes fam, we have like 300 and some subscribers, and we can't tell you how much we appreciate it, and that's all on you guys. You guys have done that for us, and couldn't be more grateful to all of you.
Yeah, for sure. We got man, I'm sorry if I mispronounce your name here, man. I call you Taz. Can I call you Taz? Tostao Taz Dutherville. I hope I didn't completely
That's
just.
a name. That's a name. He should be playing defensive back for us right there.
Yeah. I'm gonna call you. I'm gonna call you Taz. What's going on, man?
Eric has a good question here. Who do you think the starting quarterbacks and safeties are going to be against Florida? I think the corners are pretty much set in stone that it's going to be obviously Trajan Bandy on one side, and I think DJ Ivey on the other.
Mhm.
Safeties, I will tell you, I definitely think Gervin Hall will be one of them. A lot's going to depend how quickly it takes Bubba Bolden to get up to speed. If it takes Bubba a little bit longer against Florida, you might be seeing Amari Carter and Gervin Hall starting. But regardless, I think those three safeties are all going to get a ton of playing time. Gervin Hall, Bubba Bolden, and Amari Carter.
Yeah, I would agree with you there for sure.
And
Especially with Bubba, man. I know Bubba, still has to prove himself, but I think he's a stud. We've talked about him before quite a bit. And Bubba, yeah, Bubba's the real deal, I think, to be honest.
yeah, I do. I think down the road, I think you're going to see the two safeties that are going to get the most playing time are going to be Gervin and Bubba. What I would like to see to do on corners, if we're playing a true 4-2-5, I'm not talking about the striker now, because when the striker, that's going to be Romeo Finley with Trajan and DJ Ivey at the corners. What I would like to see if we go to a true corner, to a true nickel, I should say, I want to see Trajan kick inside and have Al Blades and DJ Ivey on the outside at the corners and have
Hmm.
Trajan playing the slot,
Yeah, I would agree
Bandy
with
the
that.
slot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
I think he just has a lot more of that short area quickness that it takes to play slot. And even though Blades did it some last year, I think Blades is better suited to be outside corner.
Yeah. So I'm gonna we're gonna try to take these, as organized as possible. We got Dave G supporting the fan. What's going on, Dave? We got Joseph. What do you think about Tyreek Austin?
Really, really excited about it's Tyreke Austin Cave. For those of you that didn't know, he's part of that. I mean, we're really doing a really good job of picking and choosing out of state who we go after. Tyreke Austin Cave is actually visiting this week. He's a linebacker and a very good one. I like his testing numbers. I think he actually, if you watch his film, he looks even faster than what he tested at. He's about, I think he's 6 foot half an inch and 203 pounds. But guy's an athlete. If you watch him, I think he tested at 4.7 and change, I want to say. But if you look at him, he plays even faster than that. I mean, you're looking at a guy really that plays like a 4.6 at linebacker. And really active guy, made a ton of tackles. I think we have a good shot at him. I know he's visiting LSU. I think he's who he's visiting after us, I want to say. Although I'm not positive about that LSU. I think I know he has another visit planned, but I think he's ours. I think he's ours for the taking, and I think you could see a commitment from him sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
So I do like Tyreke Austin Cave quite a bit.
We got here Alexander Real B. What do y'all think about JUCO I lineman? Interior
Interior lineman.
interior lineman, as I'm guessing what do you mean?
Yeah. This is I think his first name is Osmar Traore. A really big dude too. I think they actually have him listed at 6'4", but when he was his last year in high school, he was at one of those combine style camps, and they measured him at 6'2.5". So chances are he's probably somewhere in between those two. Might be up to 6'4" now because he already did a year at junior college at Hutchinson Community College. But a big dude, like 325. If you haven't seen his film, this dude is a road grader. Some people have talked about, could he be a tackle? And I don't see tackle. I see a pure guard, and I think we're recruiting him as a pure guard. But yeah, that is a guy who I know for sure is visiting LSU after us. But the fact that he set up a visit with us first, I think we have the inside track. LSU wants him for the 2020 class, meaning they would want him to go for another year in the junior college ranks, and then go to LSU the following year. Miami, as far as I know, we want him right away, and he is fully qualified. So Traore could help us right away, give us depth at offensive line. But I definitely see him as a guard type of prospect. If you look at his film, really, really impressive. Really impressive. Plays with a bit of a mean streak. Likes putting guys on their back. But again, part of the problem there is the type of competition that you get in junior college isn't the same that you're going to get in a Power 5 at Division 1.
Right.
So it's kind of hard really evaluating a lineman until you see him against better competition. But I'll tell you what, I watched this film and I really, really like this guy. Yeah. I do. And that's a guy that could, at least give us depth right away. Right. Could get in the rotation there at offensive line.
D Rev here. In my opinion, we should be taking Mookie Cooper as a running back over Parrish. I think Knighton is a long shot. D Rev, I would absolutely agree with you in technically it wasn't our last video, but a couple videos ago, we talked about, the offensive prospects, and we talked a lot about Knighton. The talent's there, everything is there, but, basically he's coming down to between FSU and the Canes. And we talked about the crowded backfield, and Knighton having that talent that he could, go to a Florida State and start right away, which may not be the case here with the Canes. So I think you're absolutely right when it comes to Knighton. As far as Mookie Cooper, you bring up a good point, man. You considering the weight he's at already and the size.
And he's solid. That dude is solidly built.
He's solid, man. So yeah, of course, I would take him as an athlete, period, over Parrish. But, I don't know what the Canes have in mind for Mookie Cooper, whether they want to bring him in as a running back or whether they want to bring him in as a wide receiver. Last time I heard, they want to bring him in as a wide receiver. So I don't really see, him exactly, bringing him in as a running back, but just him as an overall player, he's somebody that could play both positions, like you mentioned. So having him over Parrish, I mean, absolutely, I'll take that any day of the week for sure.
I gotta say this because for full disclosure, D Rev Lee and I are like brothers from another mother. because most of the time, him and me are like 100% on the same wavelength. I actually see him quite a bit on the 247 site, and his thoughts and my thoughts. In fact, today we were texting or posting about Corey Gaynor. That some guy was saying that he didn't think Corey Gaynor was all that, and we're like, no, Corey Gaynor is our starting center. If he's healthy, he'll be a starter at University of Miami the whole time he's here.
Yeah.
And D Rev, 100% with you. I think that's a great idea.
Yeah.
I think as much as, listen, you can't argue with Henry Parrish's production. Okay. When he plays at Miami Columbus, plays against the best high school talent in the country, dude ran for 1,800 yards as a junior. You got to give him props. Okay. So I'm not, for those of you that like Henry Parrish, listen, I'm not knocking the kid. And if that's our second running back, which by the way, our first running back, Don
Got a
Chaney,
5-star, baby.
got the 5-star.
Finally. It was about time he got that 5-star,
Got the
man.
5-star he always deserved, but after we already railed on him and stuff, saying he should be the top running back in the country.
Yeah.
But no disrespect to Henry Parrish at all. But there's no way you look at Mookie Cooper's film and you look at Henry Parrish's film and you say they're comparable as athletes. They're not even anywhere near the same league as athletes.
That's my point. I mean, when it comes to give me Mookie Cooper as a safety, dude. Over Parrish.
No, but I'm saying,
I mean, just as an athlete,
right.
If you see not a comparison,
him, right, and if you see him with the ball in his hands, Mookie Cooper is special. Now, the only thing, D-Rev, that I am going to say is I'm feeling some vibes lately that Mookie's not feeling Miami the way he was earlier in the recruiting process. I think the relationship or the contact has kind of cooled. I know Ohio State got on board too. My only concern about Mookie is he going to leave us at the altar? Because if Illinois, now mind you, I don't think Illinois is going to have a good season. They've had a bunch of guys that actually transferred out through the portal, some offensive line issues. So if Illinois has a poor year, which I think they're going to, even though they have Lovie Smith as coach, then I think Mookie looks elsewhere and he doesn't go to Illinois. If Illinois happens to make a bowl, even if they have a 7-win season, I think those friendships and teammates that he has at Illinois, because it's multiple. He has several guys that are Illinois that play with him at Trinity Catholic. So I worry about Mookie being our second running back. Now, mind you, we could live, but we do need a little bit of depth at running back. So we do want a second running back in this class. I'd be worried that he leaves us at the altar if Illinois has a decent season.
Yeah. No, I'll agree with you there.
So, but what D-Rev says is absolutely true. If I show you a picture of Mookie running the ball, if I show you a film of Mookie running the ball, and he's 5'8.5", 5'9", 195 pounds.
Yeah, he's almost at 200 pounds already, man.
He's a running back. The dude looks like a running back. He doesn't look like a receiver. So when everybody was comparing him to Jeff Thomas, I'm going, has Jeff Thomas been taking some steroids that I don't know about?
Yeah, exactly.
Because Jeff, I don't get me wrong, I think Thomas is in another league as a wide receiver, but Jeff ain't anywhere near as thick as Bookie is.
No, yeah, absolutely not. We got Slim Shady Canes. What's going on, man?
What's up?
We got who else we got in here? Because I don't want to miss any shout outs. Eric, Islami. Are you guys excited for Jalen Rivers announcing his commitment on Sunday?
Yes,
you damn
sir.
right we excited, baby.
Yes, sir. I'll tell you what, guys. Okay, I'm not saying. Okay, I'll put it this way. I'm not saying that I have any inside information, but I'll just say this. I'll be shocked, not surprised. I'd be shocked if Mr. Rivers on Sunday doesn't throw up to you. I expect him 100%. I don't know if you guys remember was it our last one, Junior, that we did the that I said he was in the boat already?
No, that was because the last one we did was the defensive prospects at part one of it. So one before that.
But I think I mentioned Rivers when we were talking about Chance Williams.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, the whole package deal that we were talking
Right, right,
about.
right. So I believe Jalen Rivers is in the boat. And let me tell you something. If just to give you guys a refresher on Rivers, 6'6", 331. Kid has a 4.3 grade point average. Okay. We're talking about this is a mature, level-headed kid who looks like he's ready for college. And even though he weighs 331, he carries that 331 better than any high school kid I've ever seen. Because when you look at him, he doesn't look like he's carrying a lot of bad weight. In fact, he looks like he's carrying a lot of good weight. And I am really, really excited about Jalen Rivers. Some people said he wasn't a left tackle, that he's a right tackle or move him to interior. Now, he is a tackle, a pure tackle. And I can tell you right now, if Jalen Rivers is our starting left tackle, we could do a lot worse than him
Mm-hmm.
because he is a gifted football player,
Yeah.
gifted young man. And I outside of Don Chaney Jr., and obviously you have your little favorites of guys that committed. You could not find, actually you could make a case that Jalen Rivers is our most important commitment come Sunday because the fact that it's a position of need. He is a quality young man on and off the field, a pure tackle, 6'6", 331. And I'm going to tell you, he's a plug and play guy. He's a guy that could challenge for playing time from his freshman year.
I think, yeah, I don't think that's even debatable. Now, as far as it being our most important commitment, this will bring us to where am I at here? Miami. Oh, I'm gonna wait a second because somebody mentioned
And
something
guys, by the
about.
way, I have to make a confession how old the big dog is here. Um, part of the reason you're not going to see me come actually monitor the questions is because I can't actually see that far. When I have it pulled up on my computer screen, I'm like squinting trying to see everybody's name.
Well,
So
this is why I got you, man.
that's right.
I'm trying to do the best that I can here
You're
with
doing great.
everybody. I got Miami Hurricanes talk. Do you think our secondary will regress this year?
But by the way, I did see I actually got to focus here. Dorian McClure, is it? He said that Rivers could be a day one starter and would allow us to move Scaife inside. That's something, dude, that doesn't get mentioned anywhere near enough. And you're 100% right. People don't realize how good DJ Scaife is because we've been playing around with him and not, I shouldn't say playing around, it's a bad choice of words. I mean, we haven't just let him play guard, which is his position, and just leave him alone
Yeah, for
because
sure.
that young man would have been a freshman All American last year. I
Hmm.
truly believe that. Okay. He is tremendously talented, a really, really mature young man, also. And the thing we take for granted with Scaife is what do we say? Okay, if Zion Nelson works out of the left tackle, that's great. We'll put Scaife at the right tackle. Okay, if Nelson works out the left tackle and Herbert and or John Campbell work out at the right tackle, we'll put Scaife at the right guard.
Hmm.
But we know DJ Scaife is going to start on the line. And you're right. He is his position. And I believe his position, because I think he's a guy who could play at the next level. His position is a guard. And you're right. If Jalen Rivers is a day one starting tackle and we have two good tackles, it'll allow us to have DJ Scaife at the guard, and that's where he belongs. And I think that's a young man who's all ACC, capable of being all American, capable of playing at the next level. And you're
Yeah,
100% right. We need to see Scaife at his true position.
for sure. Daryl Young, what's going on, man? How's it going? One thing I do wanna mention here. My Miami Hurricanes talk touched on it very quick about does he think that our secondary will regress this year? I'm gonna give my opinion on it.
Okay.
Obviously
And that's
losing.
my, you said Miami Hurricanes talk. That's Paul, right? Is
Yeah,
that's Paul?
yeah, I believe that's Paul.
Hey,
So
Paul,
what?
thank you, man, for all your support, dude. We
Yeah,
really appreciate it.
absolutely. As far as our secondary regressing, I understand losing MJack, Red Wine, Jaquan. People are concerned. Now, I'm gonna give you my honest opinion. It's gonna hurt losing MJack, obviously. So I think depending on how Ivy and Blaze and how that works out on the other side, I mean, we'll see. But so I do think we might be a little thinner there. compared to production when it came to last year because we had MJack. But I love Jaquan. I love Jaquan. I've always loved Jaquan, but I honestly believe that the safeties that we're gonna have this year in that secondary, all of them are going to the NFL. And
All the
I
three of them, you mean the three safeties, right? The one we always talk about.
yeah, that's
Right,
what I'm
right.
saying. So I think when it comes to our safeties, I think we've gotten a little bit of an upgrade on our corners. I mean, we'll see. I think Al Blaze has potential. DJ Ivey has stepped up to the plate. I don't see a slight regression maybe, but a drop off, I don't see it. I don't see a drop off in our secondary, to be honest with you. And we're not even mentioning somebody that hasn't even shown up yet. Christian Williams, the guy that we took away from Bama. We'll see what Christian Williams is gonna do. You never know. I mean, it's a different coaching staff in place. Whoever's the best player, is gonna play. So Christian Williams has the talent. He was a 4-star. We took him away from Bama. He's long, and he hasn't even gotten into that competition opposite of Bandy to battle out for that other spot between Blaze and Ivy. So we'll see what Christian Williams does. So bringing him in, and along with what I said about how deep we are now at the safety position, I don't see the slight regression that some other Canes fans see, to be honest with you.
And by the way, Miami Hurricanes Talk said to us that he loves this channel, and we love your channel. I think everybody that's here is probably a subscriber of yours. But if you guys are not a subscriber, check out his channels, Miami Hurricanes Talk. They do
Absolutely, man.
so. Check them out. They're part of the Canes family, and they do a great job on their channel. Um, and thank you so much for saying the nice thing you said about the family, about the channel, Canes fam. So got to throw up to you there.
Slim Shady, Blaze living up to family legacy. Yeah.
I see
The
it.
thing about Blades is
There's something before we get on that though. I do want to touch on your point when Miami Hurricanes talk mentioned about do I think there's going to be a drop off. Here's what I'll say about that. If you measure the drop off as in giving up more big plays, I say yes, there is going to be a drop off because you have to remember Jaquan was a long-time starter. He played with Sheldrick Redwine since they were babies. I mean, literally growing up all the way through school, they played together.
Mhm.
So there's when you have two safeties that have played football that long together, they become an extension of one another. Okay, you had experience with Michael Jackson, and you had Bandy, who even though he was a first-time starter, he had already played from his freshman year.
right.
Okay, DJ Ivey, he had a cup of coffee last year at times.
Mhm.
He didn't get to play. Now he's going to be a starter.
Mhm.
So I do think we will give up some big plays, a little bit more than we did last year. So there will be a drop off when it comes to that. Where I don't think there's a drop off is I think overall we are much more talented physically in the secondary with Gervin Hall, Bubba Bolden, and Amari Carter as your safeties, and Blades, Ivy, I should say Ivy, Blades, and of course Bandy at your corners.
Right. No,
So
yeah,
uh,
yeah.
I think we'll be more talented, but we'll have to give up an extra big play or two because of miscommunication and those type of things when you have three new starters in a secondary, including guys that haven't necessarily played together. That's bound to happen.
Yeah. That's a good point. Slim Shady Canes, back to
The
what you said.
Blades.
Well, yeah, what you said about Blaze living up to family legacy. There's no doubt in my mind that when it comes to talent, Blades is more talented than DJ Ivy, and Blades has the talent to be that for sure corner opposite of Bandy. The only thing that I see with Blades is he has all the physical abilities. He just seems that he's thinking too much, and he's trying to be so perfect and trying not to make mistakes that it's like you kind of see him just thinking too much and not reacting as much as he should. So I want Blaze, man. Don't that's family legacy, like you said. So I'm rooting for Blaze to win. Now,
100.
in the spring, DJ Ivy was a more consistent corner, but overall, who's the better corner? it's Blades, man. I think it's Blades. I just think once he gets that out of his head of trying to think too much and just playing the game, you know what I'm saying, and just reacting and using his talents, to really exploit on the field without doubting himself, then I think we're going to see the best of Blades, and I think he does have a chance even this year. If he's not starting opposite of Bandy against Florida, I think he has a really good shot of winning that job regardless as the year progresses.
Yeah, and Slim Shady brings up a good point, and he says, game time fixes that, and you're right, it does.
Yeah.
The more he gets in the game, the less he'll press, and listen, playing corner is a strange animal. It's a real strange animal because you have to. How can I put this? You have to realize you losing a battle in one play can cost you a game. So you have to be aware how important your responsibility is, but at the same time, you have to have the guts of a burglar, but no memory whatsoever. You can't. Your mind has to be. You could have given up a touchdown, and you can't even think about that because you have to have as a corner, you have to have a really really short memory. So it takes a particular type of mindset to play that position. The thing with Blades, and I know this sounds like armchair psychologist, but when you have that last name, okay, and we know how proud we are of him and of his family and of the way that he represented the U when he visited one of those schools up north, and
What you
we
mean?
love.
What you mean? One of those schools up north, baby?
I don't even want to mention their names, the schools up north, but Blades,
That boy threw up. That boy threw up the
threw
U
up the U.
in Tallahassee. He was like, "Let's go, baby." Man, when
Yeah,
I saw
I
that
love that.
picture, I had that as
I
my
love that.
wallpaper. I freaking love that picture, man.
That's if I didn't tell you, if I covered up his face and you would have known what Al Blades looks like, and you would have just seen somebody throwing up to you would have gone, yeah, that's Al Blades Jr. did that.
Yeah, yeah.
The Blades is and I guess this does sound like I'm being an armchair psychologist here, but listen, when you have on and you're at the University of Miami, and your dad was Al Blades Jr. Rest in peace. Your the rest of your family is Benny Blades, Brian Blades, and you have that type of legacy at the U. There's a lot of forget about external pressure of people saying, "Oh, you're supposed to be the next great one." Internal pressure, especially add to that unfortunately his father's no longer with us. Okay, so him
Mm,
carrying that weight, man, that's hard for. And at the end of the day, he's a young kid, man. What is Al Blaze Jr. 19? He's a young kid, and so I think it's just a matter of time. Like Slim Shady said, he gets game time, he gets his feet wet, he gets on the field more often. You're going to see those nerves start leaving him, and then he's going to get into that corner mentality of shutting people down.
yeah,
So, yeah, I absolutely 100% believe that Al Blaze Jr. is going to leave one heck of a legacy at the U, and he's going to be a baller for us.
absolutely.
Now,
We got
I do want to say this about DJ Ivey, though. Ivey, if you watch him play, and this is going for the guys that have gray hair like me, man, he plays a lot like Mike Rumpf. I can see what Mike Rumpf says that he saw a lot of
yeah,
himself in Ivey. That is so. If Rump hadn't said that, I'd say it because that's who
yeah,
Ivy reminds me of.
for
Because he
sure.
plays a lot. He uses his length really well. Technique is really solid.
Hmm.
I'll tell you what, DJ Ivy, when he gets a hold of that position, it's not going to be easy for him to give it up. But you're right, Blaze is more talented.
Yeah, yeah, I would agree. Hey, we got Royale in here. That's my boy, my boy,
Hey,
my boy.
Roel, what's up, buddy?
What's going on, bro? You got here late, man. Next time, get here early. I'm not trying to hear those excuses. All right. All right. So we're getting a lot of questions here, man. People want us to talk about quarterbacks. So
Oof,
I mean, this is a
man.
conversation. Are you guys sure you want to get into this quarterback conversation? Because this could literally take up the entirety
Yeah.
of this whole session right now.
To be
Because
honest,
there's a lot to talk about when it comes to talking
here
about the quarterback.
here's what I'll say about the QB. I I don't have a clue. I really don't have a clue because when a lot of times coaches say coach speak and for good, like I said in one of the previous ones, for good reason, because sometimes there's things that coaches don't want to say publicly because it have a negative impact on the
Hey, look,
situation.
look. Before you get into this, all right,
Mhm.
I'm gonna let you finish your point. I want everybody watching now and to know one thing. When it comes to quarterbacks at the University of Miami, it we don't play favorites.
No.
We don't like this guy because of his character or because of things he might do off the field. If you're wearing a U on your helmet and you're a quarterback here at the University of Miami, and the coaches decide that you're the guy to go with, I don't care if it's in Cozy, I don't care if it's Tate, I don't care if it's Jaron. Shoot, I don't care if it's freaking Peyton Matocha. Straight up, like, hey, if the whoever the coaches decide to be the quarterback, that's what I'll be happy with. I'm not rooting against Nkosi. I'm not rooting against any quarterback. I'm speaking not just for myself, but for my dad because we've had these conversations before. So our criticisms and the things that we're gonna discuss when talking about the QBs, they're not personal attacks. I know a lot of Canes fans get touchy and they think that maybe you might not like a certain quarterback because of certain things that are not even related to football. That's just ridiculous. I mean, I think for those of you that have watched our videos, we dig deep and we like stats and we like film. So our opinions on the QBs are strictly, fact based things that we honestly believe just for the play on the field. It has nothing to do with anything else. So I just wanted to like put that disclaimer in there so nobody misinterprets our interpretations of who we think might be the starting quarterback.
Yeah, like Raul just said, he goes that he wants whoever gets us W's. Listen, that's 100% the case. And I said this before when I've always said, and I'll full disclosure, I'm a Jaron guy. Okay. But the reason why I believe Jaron Williams was the best out of the three is a vast majority of throws that a quarterback makes are short and intermediate. Vast majority of them. The guy who's the most consistent passer especially in the short and intermediate range is Jaron Williams. He has the best touch of the three. He has the 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 most consistent, quickest release with precision, accuracy, with great ball placement on short and intermediate throws. That being said, so that's the reason I said I was a Jaron guy. But to your point, I said this before. I was a University of Miami fan since the 70s, since before Jaron Williams' dad was born, probably. Okay, so whoever's the quarterback, that's my guy. Now, if you put a gun to my head and you say decide right now, I would pick Jaron because of those things. He's a lot more athletic than people give him credit for. This is a guy who rushed for almost 1,300 yards in high school. He's plenty athletic, but he's a passer, and he's a very good short and intermediate passer. Now, the reason why I said, and I'll give you those percentages again that we were given before. And this is what I was talking about, coach speak. What Manny Diaz has said recently, what Dan Enos has said recently, what they said actually since the spring, since the end of spring, they said publicly, whoever works the hardest in the summer months before they reconvene will be the quarterback. And I 100% believe that that's the case.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Will Mallory, in an article that I read today, talked about that all three quarterbacks have done a good job in this time off. That the since the spring, the spring was over. That all three quarterbacks have done a good job meeting with 7-on-7s and go and scripting plays, and all three of them have done a good job throwing with the team. So I think it's going to come down to which one of those three quarterbacks has the best grasp of the offense. Because one thing that I 100% believe is that when they reconvene, one of those quarterbacks will have eliminated themselves. So out of the three quarterbacks, because Dan Enos talked about it, he doesn't want to have a 3 quarterback competition through fall camp. He wants that first week to have one guy eliminated. So it's down to 2 guys. So those 2 guys could be competing head to head and getting more of the reps. Now, I don't even know who that guy who's going to eliminate himself is going to be.
Yeah, but do you really think that's good? That's going to be the case, man? Because I don't see how can you eliminate any of those 3 quarterbacks from the competition.
They didn't work on knowing the offense. Easy.
Right,
Easy.
but okay, but I
When
think
they reconvene, I'll tell you right now, the first quarterback meeting that Dan Enos has, and I'll bet I got my wallet right there on my stand. I'll bet what's in my wallet, credit cards and all, that when that first quarterback meeting that they have when they reconvene will be a quiz. And it might not be a written down quiz, it might be an oral quiz, but he's going to go around the room. Okay, Jaron, this is because you're gonna make a call. Okay, what's this call? What type of pattern does a Z run? And Jaron better not hesitate. And he's going to go to Nkosi and ask the same question. He's going to go to Tate and ask a different question. And he's going to go like that around the room. That quarterback who did not have his nose in the playbook, okay, I'm going to tell you right now, that quarterback isn't going to be the starting quarterback on 8/24.
I agree. I agree with that. I just think there's so much talent in the 3 of them that we're all in agreement. And Cozy had the most consistent and the best spring. I don't think there's a question. I think Jaren was probably second, not a far second, and then Tate, the first one wasn't very good.
Second one was horrible.
Second was terrible. His best one was the third one, but that's when we saw Tate working a lot more in the shotgun formation. So that which proves to be the best formation, at least from what we've seen so far, because he is short. So when he is playing under center, kind of hard to see over the lineman, and it looks like he struggles when he's dropping back like that. So, but I mean, well, I guess, but if all 3 guys all 3 guys know what's at stake, and they really do believe it's an open competition. So
Well,
I
and
don't
this,
see any three of these guys slacking off. I
listen,
mean,
if we're going by the spring, okay, the first scrimmage, Nkosi had the best day.
that's facts, Slim Shady.
What's that?
He said Tate needs a steps to see over the line. That's
Yeah,
facts.
yeah, he is short. Um, but Nkosi had the best day on the first spring game, the one that we didn't see. Jaron had the best day, the second one, and then Tate had the best day, the third one. But the thing with Nkosi is he had the best one, the first one. He was the second best, the second one, and he was the second best, the third one. The other 2 guys actually took turns being the worst of the 3. And Cozy, there's no doubt that if you ask me which quarterback had the best spring, it was Nkosi Perry. And I don't. You're right. It wasn't a blowaway because obviously, if it was a blowaway, he would be the starter. But I do think it was substantial with Jaron. Jaron, I'll say solidly in second, and Tate with that finish. He really got up there to closer to. Put it this way: I thought Tate ended up closer to Jaron than Jaron ended up to Nkosi because Nkosi had the best spring. Now, and this D-Rev, this is why I was making that point. If Tate, okay, does not have let's say if Nkosi and Jaron did outwork Tate, and Tate's always shown to be a hard worker, so it would surprise me. But if Nkosi and Jaron had a much better grasp of the offense, then Dan Enos is going to put it a Tate Martell package, and the competition would be between Jaron and Nkosi. So I do believe that one of these quarterbacks, whoever these 3 quarterbacks knows the offense the least, is going to eliminate themselves from the competition day one.
And listen, and there's no excuses that in Cozy obviously is gonna know it, and Jaren is obviously gonna know it more than Tate because Tate just got in here. This is a completely new offense. So literally everybody started from scratch. So to your point, yeah, whoever knows the offense and whoever reads it better, I mean, that's gonna be it. Now, whether it's gonna be a 2-man race, I don't know because okay, let's just say it is a two-man race.
Right.
Let's say it's in Cozy and it's Jaren.
Okay.
And Tate starts having some, some really good practices. Maybe Jaren falls off a little bit and Cozy falls off a little bit. Then Tate all of a sudden moves into a second slot. So
Well, no, no.
I think it's going to remain three, dude. I don't think it's going to be
See,
just two people and then one guy's going to be completely eliminated from the competition.
I
I don't
don't.
see that. I don't
I
see that
don't
happening
because
though.
here's the thing. Come summer, remember, come summer when they reconvene, they're going to be getting ready for a ball game. Okay, so they're going to start the entire putting the entire offense in, and they're going to start game planning.
Right.
When they get to game planning for Florida, they're going to have one QB taking first team reps.
Yeah.
They'll have another QB taking some here and there, but for the most part, 90% of those first team reps when we're game planning for Florida are going to go to one guy.
Mm-hmm.
So they're gonna Eno said it clearly. He wants that competition after the first week of summer. He wants it down to two quarterbacks.
Right.
And then I think come 2 weeks, so figure August 10th is a Saturday. August 9th, that Friday. No, let's go with August 10th. August 10th, they're going to know who the starter is. Even if they don't announce it publicly, they're going to know who the starter is. Now, if you ask me to pick one,
All
I'm
right.
going to
No, don't just pick one. Let's do what me and you always do.
the
I I,
percentages.
I want some percentages.
Yeah, I'm sticking. And it's close. It's close. I'm sticking. I'll say Jaron 40 and Cozy and Tate each 30. How's that?
Oh my god. Okay, so now I gotta pick some. See, this is the only downside when you have a channel with father and son, man. Because those are literally the exact same percentages I was gonna give. I was gonna give Jaren 40, and I was gonna give both Tate and then
And Cozy
Cozy
30.
and 30 apiece.
Yeah. And like I said, the thing with me and Jaron, man, it's very simple. 85% of a quarterback's throws are short and intermediate.
I'll give Tate 35, and I'll give Cozy 25.
25. And nobody can tell me that Jaron is not the most accurate with the best touch, short and intermediate thrower among the three.
Yeah.
That's why I believe is Jaron. Then I believe Enos is going to have a Tate package in red zone and in places sort of like a wildcat. I think there's going to be a Tate Martell package no matter what, but I'm going to go with Jaron just because of the fact that I think he's the most accurate passer of the three.
And we have some comments here
Okay, go ahead.
about um I think because I know Dave said it, and who else said it? Coach Blissett. How's it going? How's it going, Coach Blissett? We got Jake Bobby. We got some more people in here. I just want to make some quick shout outs. Thank you guys
Yes.
for
Thank you, guys.
joining and for watching. And we got 50 people watching right now, 21 likes. If you guys can, and if you're watching, hit that like button. It'll
Please
really
like, yeah.
help us out and freaking mess with the whole YouTube algorithm to try to get this up, get some more watches. But to like I said, we were hearing, I'm seeing some comments here about a two quarterback system. Me personally, I cannot stand two quarterback systems. I
Well,
do not like it. Now, what exactly do you guys mean when you say
right.
a two quarterback system?
Right,
Because do you guys literally mean splitting time, evenly, or do you guys mean Jaren or Cozy being a starting quarterback and inserting Tate in certain packages and formations? Then that's different. That's different from a two quarterback system. So it depends on what you guys mean when you say a two quarterback system.
Yeah, I think that if Tate is not the starter, then I think you'll see a Tate package that we will use every game.
Yeah.
Every game. So that aspect of a two quarterback system I do see where you see Jaren or Nkosi as a starter and then having a Tate package. But other than that, just having a system where quarterbacks are either rotate or split series, I don't see that happening. I don't see that happening. I mean, I remember years. I'm again. I'm going to show my age. I remember the Dolphins in the early '80s before we got Marino. We had Woodstock because we had David Woodley and Don Strock. And they actually listen. They made it to the Super Bowl, and they lost the Redskins in that Super Bowl. Um, I just when people have tried that QB system, it's failed a lot more often than it succeeded. So I always think that you're better off finding the guy who you think is best and then putting him in there. Um, I think we had a question from Jake asking about the running backs. Is that Jake? I'm sorry, I can't. My eyesight.
Well, we got
Jake Bob.
he wants to know about the running. Well, first of all, Tony, I remember your question almost in the beginning of the stream, man. You want to know about Justin Flo? Any news on Justin Flo and how that's going and our chances of landing Justin Flo? I know Tony's been waiting for us to answer that question
Yeah,
for a
Tony.
while now.
Oh man, I wish I had better news. I still think we have a shot. Hopefully, Flo won't make up his mind until after the season, and if we have a big year, I think that gives us a better shot. Um, Listen, the fact that he visited on his own dime, unofficial visit, so they had to pay for it, and they went to Coral Gables and they visited, with on their own with their own money, says a lot about how serious he is about considering Miami. My understanding is on our end, the contact is still there, and we went out to see him at California, so we're doing our part to recruit him hard. But in fact, 247 they have us listed as cool in terms of for those of you that don't know 247 besides commits or crystal ball selections, they also have interest level, and interest level is either warm, warmer, cool, and they have us now with flow under cool. Um, Listen, I'm not feeling warm and fuzzy with flow. Believe it or not, we're actually warm with Savell Smalls.
Yeah, we are.
And yeah, we are. So listen, I'd love to get Flo. I'd love to get Flo.
Yeah.
I think he's the best middle linebacker prospect I've seen in a long time in
Yeah.
high school. Long time. I think this kid's a plug and play, not just a plug and play starter. I think he's a star from day one. I think he's freshman All American type of middle linebacker. That's how good Justin Flo is.
Yeah, but
And
I think that, like you said, hopefully he waits, and even if he does make a verbal commitment, we've seen guys make verbal commitments and
right, right.
decommit. But I think it is going to depend a lot on how well we do this year. The
The
thing,
crystal
the
the
thing, the
crystal
thing.
balls. I do want to say the crystal balls have him going to USC. And for those of you that don't know, USC has their coach on a hot seat. Clay
Yeah,
Helton is on a hot seat where unless they have a decent year, Clay Helton might be gone. So the fact that the crystal balls had him going to USC, that puts us in a very good spot because all of a sudden you have a coaching change, and who knows if the new coach has any type of visits or anything like that. Clay Helton
think
has a bad year and loses a job at USC. I think it would bode pretty well for us. And again, the fact that he visited on his own dime says a lot about how serious he is.
and I
And
I think the fact that after this year, all of our linebackers are going to be gone. I mean, he sees the opportunity to come in and play right away as well. I think he'll anywhere he goes, he'll play right away regardless. So I'm
yeah,
not sure how much of a difference that does make. But the fact that we do have that legacy, at the University of Miami with our linebackers and stuff like that, and having Manny Diaz and seeing what Manny Diaz has done with his defense, I think we have a shot. I think we have a pretty good shot at flow. Like you said, with Smalls, we're pretty warm. We're with Smalls as well. So one thing that we definitely do need is linebackers for next year, man. I mean,
as of right now, we only have one committed in AJ Mathis, who I do like. Um, so you're looking at least three, if not four, more linebackers.
mhm.
And listen, Tyreke Austin Cave is a heck of a good linebacker. Um, these big time guys. Okay, here you go. I'll give you one. I'll give you guys a nugget that I fully believe. I believe out of Flo, Savell Smalls, and Trenton Simpson, we get one of those three. How's that? How's that? I believe that
Yeah,
we
but
get one of those three.
well, yeah, I believe we get one of those three as well. But
Well, listen.
I want more than just
Oh yeah,
one
I'd
of
like
them,
to. Yeah, of
man.
course. I'm gonna be. If it was up to me, I'd be greedy. Hell, I want all three.
Hey,
Uh,
look, if it turns out not to be Flo and it turns out to be Simpson and Smalls, hey man, that'll be huge. But
the thing is,
any one of those three are freaking studs.
any one of those three are studs, and at the end of the day, we need flow more than we need Smalls or. And I guess you could not Simpson because Simpson's a pure outside linebacker, but
Hmm.
I mean you could kick Smalls inside. He
Yeah,
definitely has the instincts of a middle linebacker.
yeah.
So if we get either Flo or Smalls, you're gonna be mad.
Nope.
I'll take one of the two.
Hey, don't Jose, what's going on, Jose? Coach, I really hope that's not you. If that's you,
Jimmy Johnson.
if that's really you, we're gonna go crazy. Jimmy, what's going on? Hey, I wanted to before we keep on, Coach Blissett he's been wanting to know about the defensive tackles coming in from New York, that New York connection. He wants to basically know what we think their chances are realistically of maybe cracking the rotation coming in.
Oof.
Now Blissett, Coach Blissett,
There might be some relation there.
there might be some relation
Well,
there, and
if you watch our show on D tackles, you know how much I love my New York connection of Blissett and Jared Harrison Hunt.
especially Blissett, yeah,
Yeah,
for sure,
no, both of them, I think are tremendous D tackles.
yeah.
I'm not dodging your question at all. Here's here's the thing that has me up in the air, and I'll tell you why. I don't know how serious the injury to Jonathan Ford is. That's number one. Okay. I heard someone say, in fact, that it was on 247 today, that someone said that they saw a picture and Ford still had the cast on his arm. Um,
I told you when I saw him with that cast at the first scrimmage at Trash Powell. I mean, I was sitting right there by the tent, and it looked a lot more than. I mean, it was a heavy. Uh,
Jake, we're not going to forget about the running backs. We'll get to the running backs right after this D tackle
we
question.
got yeah we the
We got
running
to get to the running backs.
you want to know about the running backs and the wide receivers, so we'll go ahead and talk some
Yeah,
about
we'll
that
handle
as
that.
well.
So the problem is, okay, so I don't know how Ford's injury is. Okay. Then you have the other two tackles. Pat Bethel's going to get playing time because Pat Bethel's an experienced guy. The thing with Pat is he doesn't make a lot of great plays, but he doesn't make any bad plays. So now we have Nesta and we have Bethel and we have Chigozie and Aruka from UCLA. I don't know how quickly Chigozie's going to pick up the defense. I don't know how quickly the defense he'll pick up quickly, but I don't know in what type of football shape he's in. I don't know. So I'm not avoiding the question. It's just there's some stuff with the D tackles that's up in the air. Originally, I thought the two D tackles that get the most playing time would be Nesta and Jonathan Ford, then Chigozie and Pat Bethel, and then you have Jordan Miller. Okay, that's what I thought originally. Now, if Ford is injured, I don't see. Put it this way: if one of the New York connection, one of the freshman D tackles play, I think it'll be Jason Blissett. I do
Yeah,
think it'll be Jason Blissett, but I do think that especially not being an early enrollee, he's going to be behind Nesta, Chigozie, Bethel, and probably Jordan Miller. So I don't see a lot of playing time now with the redshirt rule. They can play up to 4 games and still redshirt.
right.
So when I say playing time, I'm not talking about not playing at all. Okay, when I mean playing time is meaningful snaps in a game that hasn't been decided yet.
Yeah, not like Jaren against like Savannah
Correct,
State.
Savannah State.
Right.
Right. No. So when I say playing time, that's what I mean. Um, unless any more injuries happen in the D tackle, I would say I don't think any of our D tackles, of our freshman D tackles, play more than 4 games. Do you think that answers the question fairly?
I think so. Yeah.
All right. Now
Yeah.
we want to get to the running backs.
Hold on.
Running backs. Go
Before
ahead.
we get to the running backs, Kaniac Chris, Kane for life. Just want to, some more
Shout
shout
outs.
out. Yeah, some
Yeah.
more shout
Thank you
out.
guys.
We
Thank
got
you guys.
59 people watching, guys. If you can hit that like
Oh,
button, I mean, we would really appreciate it.
yeah. Thank
Coach
you guys for all the support.
Coach Blissett says, "Thanks, guys, appreciate it." And yes, this is Blissett's dad. We
Oh
figured.
man, tell you what, you did really well because I've seen some a little clips from him here and there, and he seems to be a tremendous young man. So you have a
Yeah,
lot to be proud of, Coach.
absolutely. You did a heck of a job with that young man, Coach. So
But I'll
so
tell you right now, Coach, if you ask me that same question for year 2020, it's a whole different ball game because I expect Jason Blissett to get a whole bunch of playing time come next year for sure.
yeah, yeah. Uh,
And
the Norris Murray, let go. Oh, you just retract. Okay, so let's go ahead and Jake, man, Jake, Bobby.
thank you.
We've been
Yeah, thank you for staying with us. The
yeah,
Jake, okay, on running backs, it's my understanding that come summer, Lorenzo Lingard's back to 100%. Okay. Now, being that in college they don't disclose injuries the way the NFL does. It's my understanding, and this is whatever quasi inside information, that it's an MCL is what Lorenzo Lingard injured last year. MCL is a whole different animal than an ACL. MCL, he should be 100% when he comes back to, when he comes back. In fact, he actually dressed out in pads the spring game in Orlando. He just didn't play,
right.
but he was in pads. So it's my understanding that he'll be 100% come summer with Lingard. Now, a running back being 100% is a little different than at other positions. Being that 100% doesn't just mean 100% physically, you actually have to be able to take hits on that leg, to not favor it, to be able to cut sharply. All those things to have confidence in that knee where you're not even thinking about it.
Mhm.
So that's up in the air. Definitely Cam Harris has I think before spring, I think people were looking at DJ to get 15 to 20 touches. Talk about DJ Dallas.
Mhm.
I think with the performance Cam Harris did in spring, I don't think people are thinking DJ is going to get 20 carries anymore. I
No.
think those carries are going to be split up a lot more evenly between DJ and Cam Harris. In fact, if Coach Enos uses DJ the way I would use him, which I would have DJ in the back, if they even got 7 in the box, I would you could split DJ out in the slot and use him as a wide receiver. People forget that. But when DJ, before Mark Walton went down, we were thinking of DJ as a slot guy, as a
Yeah.
slot receiver. So there's a lot of creative ways you can use DJ Dallas. So with Cam Harris's emergence, you might look at a timeshare in terms of carries between DJ and Cam, and even Cam getting more carries than DJ if Dan Enos starts using DJ in all these creative ways.
Yeah, that's my thing. I've seen Cam has been running like a man on a mission. He's been playing amazing, and I truly believe he could be, you know, I, I know. Okay, I think the better question is who do you think? I don't see. I don't think it matters who starts and who doesn't
Right.
start. I
DJ's
don't.
going to start.
Right, but I don't think that DJ may start, but I
Yeah.
think Harris is going to get the bulk of the carries, frankly.
You think he'll end
And
up with more carries than DJ?
I think 110% Harris will end up with more carries than DJ. 100%.
See,
I
here's the thing. I don't, from the standpoint of Enos is going to want DJ on the field a lot because it gives him the freedom to do some really creative things offensively. that it doesn't give him with Cam on the field or as much. He could still use Cam in some of those ways, but not like you can DJ. So I think DJ might end up with just as many carries as Cam, but be on the field more. Now, here's the thing. A lot of people that are big on Cam, and I'm big on Cam because he really looks different. He really looks like his body fat percentage is well down from what it was last year. And not that he was heavy last year, but he looks a lot quicker. He looks more like an NFL running back in terms of he's cut, he's playing really quick, really shifty. I like me some Cam Harris.
Mhm.
But people need to remember Lorenzo Lingard's a 5-star for a reason. Okay. This is a guy that was Mr. Florida, was a Gatorade Player of the Year in Florida.
Exactly.
Okay. 1,700 yards. Okay. This is a guy who's a world-class hurdler. Okay. His ceiling, because Lingard's about 6 foot even, and he's probably 195, 200 pounds. This is a guy who's a prime time talent. Now, again, Lingard could be back 100% come August 24th, or come October. We still have Lingard favoring the knee, not ready for a full load, playing here, playing there. So there's a lot up in the air about Lingard. Now, he could throw a wrench in all this and be back 100%, and then all of a sudden you got to get him some touches too.
Mm-hmm.
So at the end of it all, if I was to make a bet on it, I would say DJ and Cam. Maybe you're right. Maybe Cam ends up with a few more carries than DJ. DJ with more catches out of the backfield and more, playing out of the slot sometimes and stuff like that. And then Lingard gets, 60, 70 carries
Honestly, it's
for the year.
Who knows, man?
Yeah, that's the thing with Lingard is we don't know. We don't know how healthy he's going to be come August 24th.
Yeah.
So
now you say Lenoris Cam Hands is better than DJ. LG high school didn't play anybody. Now I do think he's underrated as a catcher coming out of the backfield. I think Harris is definitely, he could definitely catch a ball out of the backfield. Now I do see to D Rev's point, having DJ out there, in third down packages, that not third and short.
Who said that? Was it, how do I say that name without laughing? The guy that's Dickweed 50-50. He said DJ have more touches and Cam have more carries. Yeah, DJ Dickweed. That's I feel weird calling somebody Dickweed. But no, I think you're pretty much right. Hit the nail right on the head there.
Yeah,
I agree.
I think
that's a safe bet.
Yeah, I think that's a safe bet. A safe bet as well. I've seen an article comparing Lingard to Curly. I mean, look.
That's the thing. Listen, I get it. I'm from South Florida too. Okay, and I went to North Miami, and I lived in South Florida my whole life. I moved up to Ohio 10 years ago, but I lived in South Florida 45 years. So I get it, man. That I love the South Florida kids too. Lingard, being that he's not from South Florida, he's still from the state of Miami, though. People tend to want to downplay Lingard because it bumps up Cam. Cam Harris was a top 10 running back in the country coming out of school. So he was
the eighth, I believe.
He was the 8th best running back in the country. So nobody was downplaying Cam at all, man. I love me some Cam Harris. But when you see ceiling, Lingard has the highest ceiling. Lingard has the highest ceiling because he only showed a little bit on that touchdown run against Savannah State. He has this extra little gear. And you remember they said when they timed guys in the 40, Lingard was a 4.27. Now I know it wasn't laser timed, but Lingard is a special athlete.
Yeah.
So I'm not diminishing Cam at all. And if Cam was at a lot of other schools, he'd be 1,000-yard back without a problem if he was the workhorse. But with us, they're going to have to share some carries.
But look, man, you know better than anybody, big dog. When we finally got Zoe, that was my guy, man. I was like, I don't care. I want Zoe. I want Zoe 100% of the way because I just think he has elite level talent. And frankly, if you tell me that we're going to have Lorenzo Lingard at 100% and we're going to have everybody else at 100%, Lorenzo Lingard is our starting running back. I don't care what anybody tells me. If you give me a
Now,
100%.
wait. Now, you're telling me a 100% Lingard where he knows the offense as well as Dallas and Cam. A 100% Lingard where he's doing the job in pass protection.
No, yeah.
Okay, because let's clarify that.
Uh-huh.
If you're talking about Lingard, Cam, and DJ all equally, all of them are as good at pass protection. All of them as good as route runners in the passing game. All of them know the offense well. Then yes, I agree with you. Lingard has to get on the field.
Yeah, that's my point. But I mean, it goes back to just not knowing exactly what Lorenzo Lingard. I just hope we don't see a Robert Burns type of situation with Lorenzo Lingard, because you want to talk about somebody that had all the potential in the world and has
Yeah.
seen little to no action. Robert
Well,
Burns, man, and we
he
keep
was
on
he was
hearing it.
hurt. He was hurt before he even came to us, though.
Yeah, I
His
know, but
potential was like at 13, 14, 15 years old. He was all world, and then
exactly.
he started getting injured.
But he
Yeah.
was one of those guys, man, that people were just like, "Oh my goodness!" And
Yeah.
then that injury in high school, and then it just he never recovered from it, and he kept on getting injured, and he's injured again. So I really prayers to Lingard
But
that
we have no reason. Yeah, but we have no reason to think he's going to be. I mean, he had this one injury, but he was plenty durable in high school and stuff like that. So there's no reason to think Lingard's going to be that. Um, the thing is, guys, and again, I'm not taking away anything from Cam or from DJ, but Lingard has an other gear that Cam doesn't have and DJ doesn't have. And DJ and Cam are plenty fast. Don't get me
oh
wrong;
yeah,
they're plenty fast.
yeah,
But Lingard has this, and I know people are gonna, because again, I mean, how many times have I said this, that I don't like comparing young players to older players because it does a disservice to both. You put too much pressure on the young player and you disrespect all of that the older player accomplished.
mm.
Lingard, for those of you that are as old as me, there was a guy that played for the Baltimore. It was Indianapolis Colts. So actually, I think he played with the Baltimore Colts. That he became the Indianapolis Colts out of Texas A&M, named Curtis Dickey. And Curtis Dickey had some good years with the Colts. He was reminds me a lot of Lingard, about the same size. Dickey was already bigger because he was playing in the NFL, so he was about 220 at about 6'1" or 6 foot, and he had that type of track speed. And that's what Lingard. When I see him run, it reminds me of Curtis Dickey. And I know now everybody's is on with us is going, who the hell is Curtis Dickey?
Google
But
it, Google him.
yeah, you might actually, there might be some stuff on YouTube for him, but that's who Lingard reminds me of. That when he gets up to that top gear, see ya, plays over. And that's, there's something to be said for that. And his acceleration is special too. So, anyways, that's enough. I answered all the stuff about the running backs.
Yeah. When it comes to, I believe, let's see what else we got
Oh,
here.
somebody just said that Eric, that Bookie made the Hurricanes top 5, like expected. Good,
Yeah.
good,
We
good.
link.
Eric, who were the other ones? Was it Ohio State, Illinois? Um,
I'm sure a couple more of the
I
usual
think it was.
suspects.
Well, that's what I want to know. Was Texas still in there? Because remember, he was committed to Texas at one point.
Yeah.
So I wonder if the other 4 were Illinois, Texas, Ohio State, and one more school. I'm trying to remember. Trying to see who the other school. Let us know if you can, Eric, who the other 4 are. I'm sorry. Go ahead, dude.
And what do you think about Miguel? What's going on, Miguel? Miguel wants to know about our running backs coach because he doesn't really know much about.
Eric Hickson. Yeah. I'll tell you what I like about Hickson. He has a ton of connections in South Florida. Ton. Because this is a guy, he's from the area. He coached in the area. He was a primetime running back at Kansas State. But he has a lot of connections to the state of Miami, recruiting to a lot of high schools that he coached at. and that he has relationships with. So listen, Thomas Brown is one of the few. Him and Todd Hartley are probably, I don't know. Dugans was actually a good receivers coach too. So I don't. So, but I actually like Thomas Brown as a running backs coach. I understand why Manny did that, why he fired the whole offensive staff, and I completely understand it because when you have a unit a side of the football that's that unproductive, you have to set a standard that of accountability that everybody needed to be gone. So, but I do like Eric Hickson. I think, especially as it comes as a recruiter, I think he's going to be an upgrade to Thomas Brown, who, like I said, I did like Thomas Brown as a running back coach. Not as I know he was a co-offensive coordinator. So I'm not saying as a coordinator, I don't think he was a coordinator material yet. But I did like him as a running back coach. But I do think Hickson is going to be an upgrade specifically because of his recruiting.
Yeah. Hey, shout out to one of my boys in here, Joe Honor. Yeah, go to sleep, Joe. Just that's a little inside joke there. About Glow Wop. I believe that's how you pronounce that. You think Pope will end up starting over Mike Harley? What do you think? What do you think about that?
Oh, over Harley. It's so different though. The way Enos uses wide receivers, he wants guys to learn
As
X,
long as
Y, and Z.
as long as he keeps on catching the ball, I think
That's
Mark. I
yeah.
think
He's had some
Mark.
problem with drops.
Yeah.
I don't think Pope will start. I think you're looking at the three receivers starting. You're probably looking at whatever position that they start. You're looking at Jeff Thomas, KJ Osborne, and probably Harley. But I do see Pope getting on the field quite a bit, especially if he has a good grasp of the offense and he does a better job with drops, and with his routes, and of being a willing blocker downfield on running plays. Then I think he'll see the field quite a bit. So I would expect Pope and Hightower's production. You know what? I'll say Pope, Hightower, and Jeremiah Payton, barring injury, all three of them end up somewhere in the neighborhood of 15, 20 catches. How's that?
Oh, you see, I 15 or 20 catches for Hightower.
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't. I see more than that,
You
man.
see more than that for Hightower?
For Hightower, especially.
See,
For
Hightower, I think they're going to use him a lot in red zone. I think that's where they're going to use Hightower quite a bit. And remember, you also got D. Wiggins. I mean, you got some other guys that are going to get some snaps.
But I think Pope is one of those when it comes to, because I think the comparison is to Mike Harley, maybe using Pope in the slot.
But they're going to use Jeff Thomas in the slot some too. Jeff Thomas is not going to just be outside the numbers.
Yeah, but Jeff Thomas, I feel like he's gonna be used a lot to peel the top off of the defense on the outside sometimes.
Yeah, but you're also going to want him to do some crossing routes from the slot.
No, yeah, I agree. I mean, I think
Enos has an idea. He wants to get the ball to Jeff Thomas 10 times a game. Now, mind you, that might be a 2 punt returns. It might be, 2 bubble screens and a jet sweep, and then 2 deep balls, and whatever. But he wants to get the ball in his hands. So now Pope can give you that he can be an outside the numbers type of receiver, or he could be a slot guy too. So I do see Pope. Like I said, I do see Pope getting in a lot of snaps.
But I see Pope as a playmaker and
of getting the ball in his hand.
Oh, once Pope gets that ball in his hands, whether it's on a little slant route or even a little screen, a little bubble screen, Pope, once he gets that ball, he's a playmaker. So yeah. I think that he's somebody that we need to have on the field, because I see why some of the people are saying that they'd rather have Pope over Harley, because Pope has certain attributes and certain talents that I think Harley's solid. Don't get me wrong, but I think Pope is just
Rigger. By the way, I agree with you, dude, about D. Yeah. D does get too many drops.
But D Ref said it. I think Pope should start over Harley. Rigger said D Wiggins too many drops. I agree with that. Yeah, but Pope has been dropping the balls as well. But his hands have looked better in the spring for sure. and we
There's
saw
no
him in the spring.
yeah, there's no
What he
doubt
did.
that Pope is a lot more explosive than Harley.
Yeah.
That no, I don't think anybody can argue that point there.
Yeah.
So so they're going to get the ball to Pope. Okay, now are they going to get the ball to Pope a couple? Like I could see Enos if our offense is struggling a little bit, wanting to get the ball to Pope in space, on one series completely.
Mm.
But in terms of him getting a lot more playing time than Harley, D-Rev, the problem that I see with that is that there's been a lot of parts of Pope's game that have concerned me, and not just the drops, but route running, willingness to block downfield, um, aspects that I think one of the good things about having so much talent and having so much competition is that you
I'm having
force
a lot of
guys
feedback.
to
Give
focus
me
on the
Big
aspects of
Dog.
the game that they don't like, that they're not expert in. Go ahead.
You kind of breaking up there. I think the
You hear me?
connection's a little funky
We
right
freeze
now.
up.
Some little technical difficulties here.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I just hear you a little broken up.
Is it any better about that, guys? How about now? Are we
Yeah,
good?
I think we're good now.
All right. The where was I at with Pope? Oh, I was saying about one of the good things about having competitions at different positions is you force guys to have to work on the aspects of the game that they don't like. One of the things that you see in the NFL, you see it all the time. When running backs get into the NFL, one of the things that coaches talk about is they have to learn how to pass protect if they want to get on the field. Well, when you have competition, when you have the type of competition that we have at running back, that we have a wide receiver, we have so many talented guys, you force guys to have to work on the aspects of their game that are not their strong suit.
Right.
So they have to earn their way on the field. And I do think Pope is going to mature. Now, if you ask me the same question, D-Rev, come November, I think Pope's getting a lot more snaps. Maybe as many snaps as Harley, if not more. How's that? Come
Oh yeah.
November.
Oh
Come
yeah.
November. But early in the season, I'm thinking Harley's going to beat him in snaps 3-1 probably.
Yeah. All right. We got Eric asking Brown Bell says great show. Glow.
Thank you, guys.
You guys do a great job of analyzing and dissecting our team.
Thank you,
Guys,
guys.
we can't say it enough, man. We appreciate the support. We appreciate all the
Big time.
the positive feedback. And if you guys want to give us some constructive criticisms or whatever feedback, I mean that's welcomed as well. This is our first live show, so I'm hoping you guys are enjoying it. I'm actually loving it because we're interacting in real time with all of you guys. So I think we might end up doing this more often than me and Big Dog thought, to be honest with you. But
I'm having a good time. I saw Slim Shady. I gotta give him one. He says he wants to see more of Ellis George and use him like Tampa's Mike Allstott. The A
oh
train.
man, I'll start, man. Woo, that was a
No,
big boy.
I'll tell you, Enos likes using fullbacks. I mean,
He
I don't.
does.
I think he probably won't get in more than like 10-15% of the snaps, if that. Probably closer to 10% of the snaps.
Yeah.
And definitely some in short yardage. I think he'll be in there more often than not. Um, so he'll be in there quite a bit for that. But
Especially on third and ones on a little fullback dive if we need to
yeah,
get
man.
that first down.
Yeah, like the 290 fullback dives we ran last year on third and
Hey,
short.
yeah, but
We got
sure,
him. We got him every time except for one.
except for one. So
Yeah.
I mean, it definitely worked out, pretty well. So I think we'll definitely use him in those situations.
Yeah. And how about you guys? What did you think about Gray on his pro day running a 4.38, and we were using him strictly as a fullback dive?
So I didn't
God,
believe
that
you
drives me crazy.
when you told me that Gray ran a 4.38. I was you're lying. There's no way.
Yeah, but
Like
go ahead.
I had to look it up because I was like, okay, so why wasn't this guy on the field more? and why weren't more plays being drawn up for this guy? I mean, we were just strictly using him as a fullback on short yard situations.
And the
Give
guy
him the
runs
ball.
a 4.38 40 at 230 pounds. Man,
Yeah,
we should have used him quite a bit more. Dorian was asking about quarterbacks. We did talk about QBs, Dorian, earlier, and just basically said that we believe for sure one of the quarterbacks is going to drop off in the first week when they reconvene, and then I think it'll be a 2-man competition, and then about August 10th or so
it was
they'll
probably
make a
like
decision.
it was
Even
probably
if they don't
like
announce it publicly, they'll make a decision.
Dorian. I'm not sure if you could do it now. I'm pretty sure you can, but I think probably like 30 minutes ago, I think we went pretty in depth about the quarterbacks, man. I'm sorry you had to miss it, but you could definitely catch it if you just rewind. But we got here Slim Shady Canes. I'm biased. I'm a Tampa fan from Clearwater. Also, hey Slim Shady. So then, how do you feel about your boy Jameis then, man? I mean, how does that work? How does that conflict of interest work with Jameis being your starting quarterback?
Yeah,
That's pretty funny.
they got
Uh,
Ndamukong Suh to replace McCoy.
yeah, they do.
Even using his number
Unknown.
too, which is disrespectful, by the way. Gerald McCoy
Yeah,
has been the face of the Buccaneers for 10 years, and then he leaves, and as soon as he leaves, you give his number away
yeah,
to a guy who was playing for the Rams like 5 minutes ago.
yeah.
But anyways, go ahead.
Unknown faith. I feel like Jaren is going to transfer if he loses. I see that being a high possibility because we saw him wanting to do that before anyway. I mean, he was just on the verge of transferring.
Who was
Frankly,
that?
Jaren.
Oh, that Jaron doesn't
If
win the job.
if it turns out that it's in Cozy and Tate over Jaren, I think 100% Jaren leaves, and I think 100% he should leave. I don't see why he would stick around, frankly.
I mean, a lot of people would have him if he doesn't win the job. Because the thing is, if Tate doesn't win the job, doesn't matter. They'll have a Tate package, and he just transferred in, so he's not going anywhere. If Jaron doesn't win the job, a lot of people have him going to Georgia Tech. And being that they don't run the triple option anymore, that sort of makes sense. Um, listen, I have a feeling that if Jaron doesn't end up being the starter and we end up losing Jaron, I think it's going to bite us in the behind because I do think Jaron has an opportunity to be a special quarterback. Now, with some of the stuff that happened last year, if he doesn't work hard enough to get the job this year, would he have made his own bed? I agree with you. He would have. So I'm not going to be one of those that if Jaron doesn't win the competition, that I'm going to be saying anything negative. I trust Enos and I trust Manny in making the right decision.
Yeah,
But I do think that if Jaron goes elsewhere, it's going to bite us in the backside because I do think Jaron, with his accuracy, his quick release, his mechanics, has an opportunity to be a special quarterback.
mm,
Okay, so that's again, that's why when we said before when we were going over the quarterbacks that Jaron was my guy, Jaron is not my guy because I'm rooting for him above Nkosi or above Tate. Whoever has that U on the side of the helmet's my guy. But
mhm,
I think Jaron is the most talented passer because short and intermediate, his ball placement is. Mike Harley said it when they talked about it in the spring. Mike Harley said positive things about all three quarterbacks, but yet the thing he said about Jaron that he didn't say about Tate or Nkosi was ball placement. That it's like playing with the NFL quarterback because Jaron throws it in the perfect place almost every time.
mhm.
So that's why I thought Jaron was special, guys. But you're right. If he does not win the job, I fully expect him to transfer.
Yeah, yeah. I would agree with that. We're gonna wrap this up soon. What I do want to cover that I think we haven't really gone into depth about before we go ahead and sign off.
There is one thing I do want to cover is the O line because
Well,
Coach
okay,
Lissette's
that
asking and
no,
guys were asking about it before too.
that's exactly what I was gonna say.
Oh, okay, good,
Right, yeah,
good.
right before we sign off, I think that's something that a lot of people are concerned about the offensive line. So I think, he says Coach Brissett What is your honest opinion about the state of the O line? Are we in
And,
denial about
and
competing with this line? Or
Tony Kidd and some of the other guys were asking about the O line earlier, guys. So it's my fault. I'm sorry. I meant to go to it sooner, so I'll address it now. I do think, Coach, that the and everybody else, I think our O line's much better than what many people fear, and I'll tell you why. A couple of reasons. Number one, I think Coach Enos's offense will protect the offensive line a lot more than it had in the past. Okay, I think we're going to spread teams out a lot more where they won't be able to overload the box. That's going to help. I think a lot of the quick passing game is going to help. I think a lot of the motions are going to help. So I think offensively, our offensive line is going to be put in the best position to succeed. That being said, I think we have a lot more talent in the offensive line than I think what a lot of people feel that we have. Now, what we don't have is a lot of experience. You know, we have Donaldson, who's been a starter for 2 years, has experience. Scaife played as a true freshman, started a handful of games last year, has a little bit of experience. Corey Gaynor, who will be our center, played a bunch in 2017, redshirted last year. So he has a little bit of experience. Outside of those three, we don't have hardly any experience. Or at least, well, we have Tommy Kennedy, but Tommy's not panned out the way we had hoped. Now, here's what I think our offensive line is going to look like. Okay. I think our left tackle will be Zion Nelson. I expect Nelson come August 24th to be right around 285 pounds. Okay, 280, 285. I think he's going to be our starting left tackle. I think Donaldson will be our starting left guard. Corey Gaynor will be our center. At right guard, here's where there's a question for me at right guard and tackle. If our right tackle is DJ Scaife, I think our right guard will be Cleveland Reed. Okay, in which case I feel our offensive line will be a well above average unit. I think those three guys specifically, Donaldson, Gaynor, and DJ Scaife, are well above average at the college level, at the Power Five level. Now Zion, I think is going to be a revelation. I think he's going to be much better than what people
well,
obviously expected of him.
he's at 275 now.
He's at 275
He
right now.
came in at 240,
Two. He
242.
came in at 242 and he's already at 275. So he's
Yeah.
gained 33 pounds. I expect him to be a 280 or 285 come August 24th. And I do think he's going to be our starting left tackle. Obviously, if he's not, I think DJ Scaife
Yeah.
will be our left tackle.
What
Now,
what
hold on. Let me finish on the right side of the line. Okay, so if DJ Scaife is going to be the right tackle, then Cleveland Reed's going to start at right guard. I like Cleveland Reed. For those of you who haven't had a chance, go watch his high school film. Plays with a mean streak. He is a road grader of a blocker. You remember I told you I was disappointed because I really thought he was going to grab that other guard spot and we were going to keep Scaife at the tackle. And towards the end of spring, he started making a break for that first team. So if Cleveland Reed is up to snuff, he'll be the right guard. If at the right tackle, if Herbert or John Campbell is ready to start at that right tackle, then Scaife kicks inside to the right guard. Okay. In a perfect world, I would have Zion Nelson and Herbert or doesn't matter if it's Herbert or Campbell, one of those two at right tackle, Nelson at left tackle, and then DJ Scaife, Corey Gaynor, and Navon Donaldson in the interior.
Yeah,
I do think that's an above average line.
I would agree with that. And Dorian, to your point, the thing is we can get 3-4 years out of that lineup. That's my only thing with the offensive line is
continuity is big on offensive line.
Continuity and guys sticking through. And we'll see with Jalen Rivers, what he announces on Sunday. What we do need to do is keep on loading up on the offensive line, and we need to start. We need to increase our depth. We're doing it in our secondary. We're doing it with our running backs. We're doing it with our wide receivers, obviously with our quarterback. So we're doing it basically with our defensive line, especially through the transfer portal. But I think our offensive line has been the position group that is probably, further down on the list when it comes to stacking up on depth. in the
in terms of
classes
units.
in terms of
This
units.
is something to Coach Blissett's point I do want to mention. Okay, so I said what our starters are. I feel really good about that. Here's my biggest concern: injuries. What I don't like to see, and what I hope I don't see during the season, is when guys get nicked up, are we going to start playing musical chairs? And
That's
that's my biggest concern.
that's the problem.
Because I don't want to see, for example, hopefully he's healthy. When Corey Gaynor got nicked up in the spring,
Donaldson moving. I don't want to see Donaldson moving to center, and
man,
then
and some people are down on Donaldson. Listen, man, he is a well above average offensive lineman,
it's just
and
people thought Donaldson was going to be that lockdown,
well, he was
that
okay
left
because they thought
tackle
he was going to
for
be a tackle.
a 3 to 4.
Okay,
Yeah, exactly.
the kid wasn't a tackle; he was a guard.
Yeah.
But he was a guy who was a freshman All American at right guard his first year.
Mm-hmm.
Then you want to kick him outside the tackle. Okay, I get it. He's 6'6". Okay, then you kick him back inside the guard when that didn't work out. Now you kick him over to left guard. Then Corey Gaynor gets nicked up and you move him to center. That's to Coach Blissett's point. That's what we can't do. That's what I don't want to see. I want us to see us have a plan B. Plan A, I feel good about our offensive line. But if one of those guys gets nicked up, I want next man up. I don't want us to start playing musical chairs with the offensive line because then you don't develop continuity and then you end up having an offensive line. Ideally, your offensive line should be greater than the sum of its parts, meaning that they work together as a unit better than they are even individually. If you start playing musical chairs with the offensive line, you end up having an offensive line that's lesser than the sum of its parts because then you have guys missing assignments. You have guys not knowing what the guy next to him is going to do. You have guys missing blitzers. You have guys on stunts that they get confused and they end up, two guys blocking one guy and one guy taking the head off your quarterback. Okay, so what I'd like to see is, for example, let's say we start Nelson and Scaife at the tackles, Donaldson and Reed at the guards, and Gaynor at the center. God forbid, if something happens to Scaife, okay, Campbell, you're the right tackle. Something happens to Cleveland Reed and he gets nicked up. No, we don't kick Scaife back into to guard and then put somebody else at tackle. We leave Scaife where he is, and then we put they were playing John Campbell and Zalante Hillary at that right guard. Then you
Mm-hmm.
put in Hillary or Campbell.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
And at the center, listen, if this young man that the Hutchinson Community College offensive lineman Traore, if we end up getting him and he could at least be our backup center, so we can redshirt Ja'Guy Clark, that's fine. If Tommy Kennedy can't do it,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't want us to kick around Devon Donaldson, who's never played center, and make him play center.
Yeah.
Let's leave
Yeah.
him at guard.
Yeah.
And the same thing on the other side. If something happens as Zion Nelson gets nicked up, John Campbell's ready to take over.
And
So that's what I want to see.
another thing, Dickweed show is great, by the way. I subscribe with the bell.
Thank you, guys.
We really do appreciate it. If you guys haven't subscribed yet, please do so. Share, like all that good stuff. One thing,
Hey, Sean Taylor's there too.
Sean T, baby.
I hadn't seen him before.
Sean Taylor,
So, guys,
welcome.
and Lauren,
Demelo, welcome. Guys,
everybody.
you guys been great. One thing I do want to say, man, before we go ahead and sign off, bro, we're not gonna talk about the Dolphins, but I think we should probably talk about the Dolphins in the next one because that's a lot of issues to talk, a lot of things to talk about to cover when it comes to the Dolphins. One thing I want to say about the offensive line before we sign off, man, and people's concern when it comes to the offensive line. I don't plan on seeing 8 people in the box as much as we've been seeing for the past couple of years. I think we actually have now an offense, and we have, hopefully whoever does win the quarterback job, we're going to have a quarterback back there where the defense is not going to be daring us to throw the ball anymore. So a lot of people say the offensive line had issues, but I mean, our running backs did average over 5 yards a carry. Every single one of them did. So, I mean, the offensive line, I see why people are hesitant and don't have the confidence because the consistency lacked a little bit. But when you got 8 people in the box,
you could only
block a certain. What happened?
I gotta show you guys this because I sent it to you today, and we had a great laugh. If you guys haven't seen that, could you see it? Let me know if you can see it.
Yeah, when some
This is the 2018 offense compared to the 2019 offense. Can
yeah,
you
that's
see it
my
clearly?
yeah.
I love that. I love that. I thought it was funny, and it was so true.
That's that's my point, man. Like I
Yeah.
just I think that we're gonna have a more complex offense, and I don't see defenses daring us to throw the ball anymore. I mean, when
Yeah.
you got so many people rushing, you can only block a certain amount of players. That's just just the way it works out. So we're gonna have a passing attack now. We're gonna have an offense that's gonna put points on the board. So the defense is gonna have to play honest. And frankly, I think that's just all that's gonna do is gonna help out, the offensive line at the end of the day. So I think that that's another thing that I just wanted to add about the offensive line, that we're not gonna see those looks by defenses daring Malik, to throw us the ball, or knowing that it's gonna be a
Well,
slant, a bubble screen, or the same 3 or 4 plays that Mark Richt seemed to be running every
well,
single time.
and
So
people need to remember our offensive line is plenty talented, guys. I mean, we had a lot of blue chip guys on that offensive line. Donaldson, Scaife, I think was the number 5 guard in the country when he came out. So there's talent there, and we talked about firing our offensive line coach. I mean, our offensive coaches when Manny Diaz took over. I'm sorry, guys, but I have to say this. And for me to go out, and you know me, for me to publicly bash a coach, Gus Felder, our strength and conditioning coach, for all of you who don't know, this is a guy that wasn't showing up for player workouts. Players would get there to work out, and the door was locked, and Felder was nowhere to be seen, and it happened more than once.
boy,
Happened multiple times.
we saw DJ Dallas game bad way. We saw Jaron
Jaron
Williams.
Williams gained bad weight. Okay, and Stacy Searles, our offensive line coach. I'm sorry. He was a halfway decent recruiter, but I did not see a lot of development
Mhm.
from from our players. So the offensive line coach that we have now, Butch Berry, has NFL bona fides. He was an assistant offensive line coach in the NFL. Okay. And these guys are learning technique. And I think he's going to get, we talk about upgrades in coaching. That offensive line was a huge upgrade in coaching Berry to Stacy Searles.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay. So I do want to say that about our offensive line. I do think it'll be much better. But if we do have injuries, and unfortunately, injuries are part of the game, I want to see where we have a clear one and a clear two at each position. And please let DJ Scaife alone. Give him a position and leave him the hell alone in that position from the beginning of the year to the end of the year.
Yeah.
And the same thing with Donaldson.
Hmm.
So, and
I
then I
agree.
think we have an above average offensive line.
Absolutely. So
Guys, I hope we answered all your questions. Thank you so much for your support. We wanted to have a mini celebration because, and I know it's not much. I mean, you got guys with thousands and thousands or millions, some of subscribers, whatever. But in a month and a half, we've gotten like 300 some subscribers, and you guys are the ones that deserve credit for it. Not only for subscribing, but for telling your friends and for helping us out. And I said this in the last podcast, but I'm going to reiterate it again. Getting to do this with my son is special, and then seeing the reception you guys have given us makes it like just twice as special on top of that. And it's really something that it's a blessing for me to be able to do and for you guys to like. So thank you guys so much.
absolutely, big dog. Absolutely.
Yeah,
I think
Sean Taylor said Tecmo Bowl offense. That's exactly who that 2018 was from. That was the Tecmo Bowl offense. You're 100% right.
exactly. Exactly. So yeah, man. Thank you again, guys. For joining us on our first live. I really enjoyed it. I know you did as well, big dog. And I think Matthew Sweato, closer to the game. We're gonna do a preview about the Gator game. Come
Somebody's
on now.
asking us about a Facebook page.
We're gonna work on that. We're gonna
Yeah,
work
we,
on
we
that.
got to get our Facebook page up. You're right, man. Thank you for
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, Lauren, this is the best content online for Canes fans. No smoke.
Oh man, thank you, Lauren.
I really do
Thank you.
appreciate it. We're
D Rev, D Rev, we are going to do it more often, man. I really enjoyed this. Frankly, I'll tell you what, we weren't sure if people were even going to show up, man. So the fact that you all did, we got to chop it up with you guys, man, that's a huge blessing. But we are going to do that much more often. And thank you, Lauren. Thank you, Sean Taylor. Love the show, and Daryl and Darnell. I didn't my eyesight's Daryl.
mm,
Daryl Young, thank you too, buddy. I appreciate it, man. You guys, I'll tell you what, we got the best group of people that subscribe to us and give us comments, and we have the best Canes family too. So
100%. Guys, on be on the lookout for our next video. It's gonna be get part two of the defensive prospects for 2020. We're gonna be covering the inside linebackers as well as the secondary
well,
part.
I'm glad that you mentioned that. I just want to mention something real quick. There's a new offer. I know we covered defensive line and outside linebackers in our last video, which dropped on Sunday. We send out an offer to a D tackle named Wesley Neal, who's a local kid who's been dying for an offer. This kid is camped at University of Miami. I think he's like, banged on Coach Diaz's door. Really, really, he tests really well. Really impressive, athletic defensive tackle named Wesley Neal. And he wasn't on our show because we hadn't even offered him before. And now we offered to him, I think yesterday or today, one of the might have been yesterday that we offered him. But I did want to mention, as you mentioned, the next show is going to be inside linebackers and secondary.
Yeah. So be on the lookout for that, guys. Again, thank you. Rigger, Coach Placette, Kane for Life, Larry Smith,
Larry, thank you, buddy.
Slim Shady Canes, all you guys. Really do appreciate it, man. We'll see you guys on the next one. We'll do this more often. It's been fun. You guys have a great evening
Thank
and,
you.
and enjoy the rest of your week.
And as always, it's all about the you,
It's all
baby.
about the you. All right, guys.
Have a good night, guys.